I know my boundaries. I want to fight Anthony Joshua exclusive because I know that I will beat Anthony Joshua's. I know
he just got knocked out, right?
Yeah. He doesn't have a chin and he has no skill and he's stiff. And I love you, Anthony. We're friends. All this, but I want to fight you.
AJ this morning, he went, listen, of course, I'd fight. I mean, if the question was asked to Jai, would you fight Jake Paul? And there was...
I wouldn't fight him, I'd bash him.
Yeah, but he might do it. He might just do it for just for doing it for the sake of it. But obviously we know. Listen, Jake creates massive events.
Look into the camera and say it directly because it just has to be said. Jake Paul, sir, you are absolutely delusional.
Jake Paul has been vocal about wanting to fight top-tier boxers, and now Anthony Joshua has responded. Speaking with his promoter Eddie Hearn, Joshua simply said, "Listen, I'd fight him." Hearn shared this revelation, emphasizing that AJ never backs down from a challenge. While a fight between them seems unlikely due to the vast difference in experience, Joshua's openness has sparked interest. Whether Paul is serious or just stirring hype remains to be seen, but one thing is certain: AJ is always ready.
Yeah, I want to ask you a question because the world of media went mental this morning. Anthony Joshua against Jake Paul. Please put this to bed or light the fire. What's going on?
I mean, sorry. This is the first time I've spoken about the fight. To be honest, like, I look at it and I think Jake Paul against Anthony Joshua. I mean, look, for me, we'd do it for the banter. Do you know what I mean? Like, AJ would fight Jake Paul. He'd fight anyone, to be honest with you. And if Jake Paul wants to step up and fight Anthony Joshua, he'll need the relevant insurance. But, the only thing that was disappointing was he says 2026. I mean, that's like calling someone out. That's like me saying, LA Olympics for the surfing, 2028, I'll be there. Do you know what I mean? Do it in 2025 if you really want to do it. You're not going to get really much better at this stage, but I don't know, those two have spoken. I spoke to AJ this morning, he went, listen, of course, I'd fight. I mean, if the question was asked to Jai, would you fight Jake Paul? And there was...
I wouldn't fight him, I'd bash him.
Yeah, but he might do it. He might just do it for just for doing it for the sake of it. But obviously we know. Listen, Jake creates massive events, right? You know that's going to create like unbelievable viewership, and no disrespect to Jake Paul, it's a straightforward night's work. But I like this calling out of Canelo and all this. AJ it's another challenge up there, but if they're game, why not?
What did he say, AJ, to you about it?
He said, why not? I said, what do you want me to say when I'm asked about it? And he said, tell everyone I'll fight anyone, anytime. It's not a problem for me.
Paul has set his sights on Anthony Joshua, claiming the former heavyweight champion has no chin, no skills, and is stiff. The YouTuber turned boxer took to Twitter, posting a picture of Joshua on a phone call with the caption, "Look who called, 2026 Anthony Joshua." Paul insists he would defeat AJ, sparking speculation. Shortly after, Joshua responded by sharing a screenshot on Instagram of a call with Paul, fueling further buzz. Meanwhile, Jake Paul reshared a post from Bivaffa Sports, which revealed that Paul had listed Joshua as a desired opponent for 2025 or 2026, just days after his Canelo fight talks collapsed. The boxing community remains skeptical, with many calling Paul's ambition to fight a seasoned heavyweight like Joshua unrealistic. However, the social media exchange has certainly ignited debate over whether this unlikely matchup could ever happen, adding to the complexity of Jake Paul's boxing journey. Reports suggest he's also set to fight Gervonta "Tank" Davis. This development comes after Davis's recent controversial bout against Lamont Roach. Despite this potential matchup, Paul has continued to call out Anthony Joshua, signaling his ambition to take on high-profile opponents across multiple weight classes.
You'll respond to me as I tweeted my thoughts about delusion, which again, I think is more about what Jake said about Anthony Joshua and what he'll do to him. That was the more delusional aspect of this. Amanda Serrano said, "At Jake Paul is the truth." Funny, they say he's a fraud for wanting easy fights. Then he asked for the toughest fights ever, and they say he's nuts. Listen, he was scheduled to fight Canelo, Gervonta, and now he's calling out Joshua. Come on, who else is doing this? Oh, crap, on second thought, he is out of his freaking mind, you're right. That was more of just Amanda backing her guy, you know what I'm saying, the co-founder of MVP and someone that she really respects.
After his bout with Lamont Roach, Gervonta "Tank" Davis seized the post-fight conference to call out Jake Paul. This unexpected challenge adds another layer to the ever-evolving story of Paul's boxing career.
Gervonta Davis, and she's not the only one saying that. Dan Raphael said the same thing earlier that day, or maybe yesterday. I can't believe that that's true, or if that was really going to happen. Essentially, the idea being, had Gervonta Davis beat Lamont Roach, he was going to fight Jake Paul next. And this is why I say, like, it's delusional, but it's possible. Like, he almost had the Canelo fight, and think what you will about how that went down and how realistic that was going to be. I legit think it was probably close to happening. Now you're telling me there were discussions and potentially, signed to fight Gervonta Tank Davis. And again, I do believe the reason for that is Jake's massive size advantage. Again, that's like a 100-pound weight advantage. How would that even...
Jake Paul's bold challenge to Anthony Joshua, a two-time unified heavyweight champion, has turned heads in the boxing world. Many find it astonishing that Paul, with his limited experience, would confidently call out a fighter of Joshua's caliber.
Who were you going to call out? What was the plan originally?
I think he was here. He came in my locker room.
Shakur Stevenson?
He wasn't in my locker room.
Jake Paul?
Next question.
Man, god damn, that's not the Gervonta I know.
The boxing community has been quick to react to Jake Paul's comments about Anthony Joshua. Critics point to Paul's loss to Tommy Fury, questioning his credibility in assessing Joshua's abilities. One Twitter user summed up the skepticism, writing,
Jake Paul has just called Anthony Joshua out. Yes, Anthony Joshua, AJ, the two-time unified heavyweight champion of the world. This brother called this man out. Oh my God. Now, in a recent clip on Jake Paul's podcast, I think, he basically said that he will beat Anthony Joshua's ass and he has no skill, no chin, and he's too stiff for him. He also apologized to Anthony, saying, Anthony, I'm sorry, we're friends, but I know I can beat your ass. This guy is tapped in the head. Then again, he almost got a fight with Tank. If Tank beat Lamont Roach when they drew, he would have fought Jake Paul. It was lined up, basically. A lot of people get mad when people say he's the face of boxing. These highly rated boxers want to fight Jake Paul. So, I don't know what to say, honestly. But one thing for sure, AJ will never fight. AJ is too classy for that. Way too classy. He respects the sport of boxing too much to fight this guy. Absolute plonker. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. And make sure you follow for the most up-to-date and sharpest boxing news and content on TikTok.
YouTube boxer Jake Paul, who lost to Tommy Fury, says heavyweight Anthony Joshua has no chin, no skill, is stiff, and that he would beat him. What is this guy talking about? Despite the backlash, Joshua has shown openness to the challenge, reportedly telling his promoter, Eddie Hearn, "Listen, I'd fight him." However, many in the boxing world see the matchup as unrealistic, given the vast gap in skill and experience. Some have even called the idea delusional, questioning both its legitimacy and competitiveness.
Well then, it looks like Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul might be in discussions to fight. They were both on a call to each other earlier, and the viral video went round of Jake Paul saying he would knock out Anthony Joshua. If I'm being completely honest, I think Jake Paul would actually be lucky to make it out alive, and I'm actually being dead serious. I think Jake Paul would be lucky to make it out of the ring with Anthony Joshua alive. Tyron Woodley literally had Jake Paul on skates and had Jake Paul panicking for his life. Imagine what Anthony Joshua would do. Look at what Joshua did to the last non-boxer he fought in, Francis Ngannou. That is not going to end well for Jake Paul. But look, let's be real here. This fight should never happen. It's an absolute disgrace to the sport if it does. And yeah, there's got to be a lot of backlash if this actually happens, because it's actually probably worse to the sport of boxing than what Fury and Ngannou was when it came around, or or Mayweather McGregor. It can't happen.
MMA fighter Anthony Smith has weighed in on Jake Paul's approach to boxing, suggesting that Paul strategically targets legendary fighters to secure lucrative paydays. Smith implies that Paul's method involves provoking established names with trash talk, leading to high-profile fights with significant financial rewards. This perspective aligns with ongoing criticism of Paul's matchmaking, which often features older or less active opponents, a point of contention among boxing purists.
If Jake Paul beats Anderson Silva, we should all fucking boycott the rest of his fights until he fucking fights someone that's on his level or whatever level we deem him to be on. You talk all this shit about MMA fighters, you talk shit about the UFC, then you pretend that you want to bring fighters up and you want everyone to get paid better, but then you trash everyone every time they fight. Now we're putting food on your fucking table for you to drag our legends, older, shorter, smaller, past their prime legends that have spent their entire careers running their bodies into fucking car accidents, and then we hold these guys near and dear to our heart. And then this fuckhead just pulls them out of fucking semi-retirement and then just knocks them out in fucking pay-per-view and then she'll shits on all of us. Like, go fuck yourself. Like, why are we still fucking pandering to this piece of shit?
Jake Paul's ambitions go beyond boxing, as he has also expressed interest in fighting MMA star Conor McGregor. Paul claims his boxing skills are improving, while suggesting McGregor's abilities are declining with age. However, this assertion has been met with skepticism, given McGregor's extensive combat sports background and accomplishments. Paul's comments highlight both his confidence and his strategy of calling out high-profile athletes to boost his standing in the combat sports world.
You think McGregor's done?
I think he has to come back and fight, but he needs to win.
Will he fight you?
I don't think he will. I think my skill level is outgrowing his in boxing, and I have the height advantage. He can't beat me, and I think he probably knows that. And time, he's only getting older, and I'm only getting better.